Namaste. Welcome back, Stellar Stargazers, and a warm cosmic hello to our new listeners. I'm Sophie.
And I'm Heather, and you're tuning in to the Stellar Soulcast,
where we decode the cosmos one episode at a time.
And in our last episode, we took a deep dive into the astrological significance of the ascendant in your chart. If you haven't listened to that episode, pause this and go listen to it, because your ascendant corresponds to the first house in your chart, and it will help you identify your Midheaven or 10th house placement.
Today, we're tuning our gaze to the very top of your chart, to the Midheaven or MC, which stands for Medium Koli. It's the highest point in your birth chart and reveals your soul's public path. Understanding this placement will help guide you to the career you're here to pursue, the legacy you're destined to build, and how the world is meant to remember you. Your legacy. But before we get climbing to the top of the mountain, subscribe to us on YouTube and all our social medias, because we want you guys a part of our stargazing community. Yes. So, what exactly is the Midheaven, and why do astrologers pay so much attention to this seemingly small angle in your chart?
Well, the Midheaven, often abbreviated as MC, is Latin, as Sophie just said, for Medium Coli, which means middle of the sky. In astrology, it marks the cusp of your 10th house, the highest point in the sky at the moment of your birth.
It's the zenith of your chart, the place that reflects your career, reputation, visibility, and destiny in the eyes of the world. It's not always who you are behind the scenes, but rather who you're becoming, your public face, your outward path, and the energy you're meant to embody as you move through the world.
Think of it this way. If your ascendant is your rising energy, how you enter a room or your front door, your Midheaven is how you leave your mark.
Bam, beautifully said. It's the lighthouse, the North Star, the signal you're beaming out to the world, whether you know it or not. And what's fascinating is that it's not always what you're doing for a job, but rather the essence of the legacy you're here to live out.
And yes, it's always connected to the 10th house, but it's just one piece. You'll always want to look at planets in the 10th house as well, your chart ruler's relationship to the MC, and transits to that point over time.
So to summarize the MC's core themes, it entails career and vocation, public image and reputation, legacy and life direction, soul calling, and aspirations.
It's where the universe is gently pointing and saying, this is what you're becoming. So take a deep breath, stargazers, because we're about to map your highest potential.
Yes. And one common question that we get is, what's the difference between the Midheaven and the 10th house or its ruler?
Yes, always a great question. So let's break it down. The MC is a fixed point. It marks the cusp of your 10th house. The 10th house ruler is the planet that rules a sign on the MC. And the 10th house planets, if any, add flavor and specific experiences to that area of life.
For example, if your MC is in Cancer, your 10th house ruler is the moon. So how you show up publicly will be flavored by lunar themes, being nurturing, emotionally intelligent, having intuition, all themes we discussed when we spoke about zodiac signs in episode 2, and planetary significance in astrology in episode 4. So definitely check those out if you haven't done so already.
Yes, go, cue it, do whatever you need. All right? And while the MC shows the archetype of your calling, the 10th house ruler shows how you carry it out. Are there any planets in that house that will tell you what tools you're using to bulldoze? That will tell you what tools you're using to build your legacy.
You want to look at all three to understand your calling holistically. Your direction, your MC, Midhaven, your process, that ruler of the sign that's in your MC, and your resources, which are the planets that you may have in that sign that's in your Midhaven, right? So the sign on the cusp of your 10th house, aka your MC, will give you what your greatest potential is and what level of impact you can leave on the world. The ruler, which is what planet rules that sign of your MC Midhaven, that will tell you what themes, what energy will come through and help you to get to that potential. The resources that you'll use is associated with planets that are also in that sign that you have in your Midhaven. For example, if you have Capricorn in your MC and you also have Jupiter and Saturn in Capricorn, you'll use the resources from those planets to help guide you to your potential.
And don't worry, if your job doesn't match your MC, this point is about your evolution, what you're here to embody, and not just your job title.
Yes. Your job or career can play a big role in your legacy due to how much time and energy we spend at our jobs and fortifying our careers, but it's not the only things that we should be and will be remembered for.
Indeed. But stargazers, ready for the Astro speed date? We're about to go through the MC through all 12 signs. And remember, this is your vocation vibe. Not necessarily your job, but your soul type for showing up publicly and leaving a legacy. If your MC is in Aries, your ruler is Mars. Calling is trailblazer, warrior, that entrepreneur. Your public image is bold, assertive, independent. Your legacy is courageous, leading for others. And your mantra, I crave my own path. And if your Midhaven is in Taurus, your ruler is Venus, and your calling is the builder, the artist, the stabilizer. And the public image you embody is grounded, reliable, and sensual. Your legacy is creating beauty and value through consistency. And that mantra you carry is my work is my worth. But a Midhaven in Gemini, your ruler is Mercury, and your calling is the communicator, the teacher, and that connector. Your public image is often curious, witty, and versatile. Your legacy is sharing ideas and opening minds. But you carry a mantra of, my words, leave a legacy. And a Midhaven in Cancer, your ruler is the moon. Your calling is the nurturer, the healer, as well as the protector. The public image you embody is empathetic, intuitive, soft, yet strong. And your legacy, well, that's creating emotional safety for others, and the mantra you hold to is my heart is my greatest offering. If you have a Midhaven in Leo, or I should say if your Midhaven is in Leo, your ruler is the sun, and your calling is the leader, the artist, and the inspirer. The public image is radiant, confident, and magnetic. Go get it, Leos. And the legacy that you embody is empowering others through self-expression. The mantra that you hold dear is, I lead by being fully me. A Midhaven in Virgo, your ruler is Mercury. And your calling is the analyst, the healer, and perhaps the helper. The public image is precise, humble, and practical. But your legacy is creating systems that heal and serve. The mantra you hold is, my purpose is the details. And moving along to Midhaven in Libra, your ruler is Venus, and your calling is the diplomat, the artist, as well as a harmonizer. The public image is graceful, fair, and aesthetic. Your legacy is bringing balance and beauty to the world. You hold the mantra of, I build bridges through beauty and balance. Now moving along to our Midhaven in Scorpio, your ruler is Pluto, and your calling is the transformer, the mystic, as well as the psychologist. And the public image you hold is intense, deep, and mysterious. Your legacy is guiding others through shadow and rebirth. The mantra you carry is, I leave light in the dark places. Now for our Midheaven in Sagittarius, your ruler is Jupiter and your calling is the teacher, the traveler, as well as the philosopher. The public image you hold is bold, expansive, as well as wise. Your legacy is spreading the truth and awakening curiosity. The mantra you go by is, "My wisdom inspires wanderers." Now for our Midheaven in Capricorn. Your ruler is Saturn. Your calling is, well, the CEO, as well as the architect and that mentor. Your public image is responsible, ambitious, as well as steady. The legacy is building something that lasts. And your mantra, well, my work becomes my legacy. Simple as that. And for our Midheaven in Aquarius, your ruler is Uranus. Your calling is the innovator, the reformer, and the visionary. The public image is quirky, unique, and futuristic. Your legacy, well, breaking molds and uplifting the collective. And the mantra you hold is, "I change the world by being myself." And lastly, we have our Midheaven in Pisces. Your ruler is Neptune. And the calling you hold is the artist, the mystic, as well as the empath. Your public image is viewed as dreamy, compassionate, as well as otherworldly. And the legacy that you embody is healing through spiritual or artistic gifts. And your mantra, well, my soul's work transcends worlds. And as you grow, your MC doesn't stay silent. It activates through transits, progressions, and solar arcs. Big life changes, often MC transits.
Yes. If you have Saturn over your MC, major career restructuring will show up. Jupiter, a career breakthrough. Pluto, a complete transformation of your public life.
These transits help us realign with our true path, especially if we're veered off course. So if your MC feels foggy right now, be patient, all right? It unfolds over time and there's more maturing to take place.
And pro tip for our stargazers is to keep a track of MC transits over the years. It's amazing how visible your cosmic calling becomes when you zoom out. All right, stargazers. Now that we've walked through the Midheaven and the 12 signs, we thought it might be fun and hopefully a little inspiring to share our Midheaven placements and how they've shown up for us.
Yes, and because we're not just your astro guides, we're walking this cosmic path with you, so remember that. And knowing your MC can be both illuminating and, let's be honest, sometimes hilariously spot on.
Absolutely. Let me start. My Midheaven is in Taurus, and let me tell you, that slow, steady, rooted in beauty kind of path is so real for me.
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, I feel like everything you touch has that Taurus vibe. I feel like everything you touch has that beautiful Taurus vibe.
Yeah, for me, the lesson of Taurus at the MC has been about trusting that slow growth is still growth. I used to feel like I wasn't doing the most at the time. I was feeling behind, and I am a Leo sun and moon, and sometimes I feel like in life I could be living a totally different life, right? Right? Looking at other people's lives, which you shouldn't do. No comparing. And sometimes I'd be like, I need it now. But with Taurus and the MC, it nudges me and tells me that I need to trust the process.
Well, it's the classic pressure from society's idea of success.
Right. All right. So, Heather, tell us about how you feel Gemini shows up for you.
As a Gemini MC, my path has always been about communication, learning, and sharing information in a way that sparks curiosity. I've worn many hats, and it's definitely that communication is crazy because I can honestly talk to anybody.
Yeah, you can.
I really can. It's like, it's wild. Like, and I love talking to people too, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, astrology is astrology.
Hey, I always love that. I love the way you always put that.
No, because it's facts. When you used to have your old role as the executive assistant, you used to say how you'd have to talk to the family members you know, and how you were able to like communicate.
Oh, yeah,
previously,
that was previous that one.
Your role.
Because I've had like several roles in my current job.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that one was, so my first two were family members for sure.
Right.
And I can literally like just vibe with anybody. And I don't know, they would just like gravitate towards me. And I would listen, I'd hear out what they had to say. And sometimes I had some people that would tell me, I don't know why I'm telling you this. I don't know what it is. And it's just my voice, right?
Yeah.
So I could walk past them on the street, in a mall, wherever, out in public. I won't know them for a hole in the wall. But I have this beautiful relationship with them on the phone. Mm-hmm. And it's just my voice. So it's just a very fascinating thing. But one thing I have to say, like, I know we didn't talk about texting or anything like that, but a lot of people tell me I text how I speak. So if I'm talking to you, right, I'd be like, yo, dude, that's crazy, man.
Right.
I would literally type, like, text, yo, dude, that's crazy, man. Or be like, bruh, OMG, oh my God, like, you know, something along those lines. And,
yeah, I get those texts too.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, you definitely do. Be like, oh no, that was my sound effects for the dots. We haven't had a Heather sound effect in quite some time. Yeah, I definitely like talk how I speak, or people say they can hear me, and I don't know, maybe that's something to do with Midhaven.
No, absolutely. And I think what's awesome is that you have like all these different like components that make you so cool to talk to, because you have like Sun in Sag, but then you also have your Mercury in Sag,
yes,
right? And then you have this Gemini in your MC, or MC Gemini, whatever you want to say, however you want to say it, is that you invite people in.
Yeah, I can see that.
The experience that people have with you.
Yes, maybe that's that inviting energy.
I think so.
I can see that, yeah, because I'm just laughing because I never really understood it before in the past, but that could be a super major component, especially with Mercury also being my chart ruler.
Right.
Because Virgo, as my ascending, I also have a grounding nature. And everybody, like we said, maybe you listened to the entirety of this episode at the end and did not adhere to backtracking to our previous episode on the ascendant. But as my ascendant being Virgo, my chart rulers are also Mercury. So, and if we put in maybe the co-ruler of Chiron and some astrological aspects of it, you have that wounded healer, right? So connecting on that level as well could play into something.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yes.
I love deep dabbing and then connecting the dots.
Hey.
Hopefully you guys have been connecting the dots too.
But what do you believe is what people say for you as your Taurus?
Definitely resonates a lot when it comes to my work, because therapeutic recreation, which uses a lot of like creativity, using various hobbies. So it's like using hobbies to rehabilitate people. But what people don't realize is that there's so much to our hobbies and to our life that is not just keeping ourselves alive, I should say, right? So, for example, so many people will say that on the weekends I like to go to a coffee shop, right? So, like, imagine if someone's life completely changes and they're no longer able to get themselves to the places that they love to go all the time. So as a therapeutic recreation specialist or someone who works in that discipline, what they can do to help people is to create that scene, right, for them, or create that environment so that it helps bring a positive emotion or positive feeling and elicit those things. And I feel like that is very much Taurus energy, where it's creating, but like, I just feel like it definitely like resonates with me, at least, because through what I do, it's always making it like the best of what it could be. Yeah. And like whatever I can bring to life, I try to do in my work.
You're grounded into and determined,
right,
to bring that to life,
right?
And
to no extent, where sometimes I'm just like, dude, I should chill, and I'm like, no, I got to do this.
No, but I love that because,
yeah,
you know, with my grandma being in a nursing home and seeing how the recreational therapist there really sparks that joy back in her, or she loves arts and crafts, right? So things like that, or not just the arts and crafts of it too. There's a lot of plethora of different things like the animal,
pet therapy.
Yeah, the pet therapy.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even just the pet therapy. It was like they had a zoo, like a petting zoo.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
that was really cool.
Yeah.
And my grandmother loves animals, so that was really cool. And and just giving. And it doesn't just have to be, I guess, in a nursing home setting, but it just in the context of the nursing home setting. Seeing that spark of life, right? Mm-hmm. And having that tenacity, that Taurus energy to just say,
right.
Love that.
Which is interesting because with Taurus, an earth sign, is also kind of sometimes related to being motherly, not necessarily being like Cancer, which is more nurturing. It's kind of like the giving of life, which is, I think, is interesting because I'm sorry, I'm like, sometimes I get so like passionate and like,
I love the passion
tuned with it, where it's like, I don't know, like with me, I was just also like, I need to bring life into spaces. Aww. And sometimes I'll like look at like my chart and how I connect to it, and it's like, oh wow, like that really does make sense that I want to, and how you're saying like it's kind of bringing that spark back to individuals like who are in, you know, certain situations where they can't independently do these things on their own. Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, love that, Sophie. Thank you for sharing.
Oh yeah.
And stargazers, you might be thinking as you're listening, maybe I am already living parts of my Midheaven without even realizing it. And the chances are you probably are.
Okay. Yes. Even if your job doesn't match the stereotype of your MC sign, you might still be embodying its essence. Your career path is fluid and it's not fixed.
So, whether your Midheaven is fiery Aries or mystical Pisces, remember, this isn't about chasing status. It's about following your soul's signal and letting your path unfold naturally.
And before we wrap things up for this episode, we do have one more thing for you guys.
Soul homework! So, stargazers, grab your astro journals and your birth charts, locate your MC or a Midheaven, and reflect on what were discussed today in this episode. Because remember, your MC isn't just about your career. It's about your calling, your contributions, and the legacy your soul came to build.
Yes. Now that we have these helpful tools, go through these prompts below, writing the answers as they come to you. First, what are the core traits of my Midheaven sign, and how do I see those reflected in how I approach work, goals, or my public image? Next, what kind of legacy do I want to leave behind, and how do I want to be remembered by the larger world or my community? Third, in what ways do I feel different in public versus private spaces? Does my Midheaven reflect an aspirational version of myself? And does my current job, career path, or life pursuit align with the energy of my Midheaven? Why or why not? Now, where is the ruler of my Midheaven sign in my chart? And what house is it in? And what does it say about the area of life that supports my public success? Now, what fears, limiting beliefs, or past experiences could be holding me back from fully stepping into my Midheaven potential? And lastly, based on what I've uncovered, what is one affirmation I can use to support my Midhaven journey? For example, am I becoming the person that I want to be in the eyes of the world?
Well, we hope you found these prompts helpful and then guide you further towards your purpose. And before we go, don't forget to hit subscribe on your podcast app so you never miss a drop. Follow us on all our socials at the Stellar Soulcast and DM us on any insightful takeaways you got from this episode. We love hearing how our stargazers grow. And don't forget to drop a comment for your MC. But on that note, stargazers, we want to remind you all to keep reaching for the stars and trusting the vibes. Until next time, stargazers.